Today it's time to revisit Rufus. It's a utility to format a USB drive. And in this case, I have a fresh 32 gig USB drive and it's completely blank. And we're going to want to image it. We're going to want to create a bootable media out of it where we can stick it in a server, boot from that device, which is ESXi 7.0 installer, and end up with 7.0 installed right on that same media. So it loads into memory and then overwrites the drive that it just booted from, and then you reboot and you have yourself a permanent ESXi install. Okay, so let's get into the details of how that's done. So, VMware Visor installer, that's the file we're talking about. This Rufus article, I admit, is kind of old, so we're going to revisit and get the latest version. And let's put it right into the same folder. All right, so Rufus has a giant download button. We want the portable one, so I'm getting the latest version, and it's portable. And again, they've changed the UI significantly enough that I really want to make sure you can see what's going on here. Okay, it's portable, meaning we can run it right from that directory. So, first time you run it, you get a question. User access control, of course. Okay, it asks, do you want to allow Rufus to check for online updates? I'm going to actually say no. I do not need it to do that. And now let's bring the UI up on this screen. Okay, what are we looking at here? Well, my article will help us follow along. So basically, this talks about running it, update, we said no. And now, when we go to point to the ISO, and click on select, go into vSphere, point to that ISO, and you want to make darn sure you have the right ISO. How do I know? Well, I wrote this article all about downloading it. And it doesn't matter which of these four sources you get it from, you're going to end up with the same ISO likely. And let's have a look at, well, that one. And there it is. See the version right there? That's the ISO I'm looking at. So you just pause and make sure you got the right file, right? All right. So we resume here looking at Rufus, and now you just want to point Rufus to that file, click open, and did not get that error, so that's good. Things are a little streamlined here. All right, let's compare the version here to the new. Yes, a lot of time has gone by. FAT32, yep. MBR or UEFI. So right there, all of those defaults are still good. It's just the UI has moved things around quite a bit. You want to make sure you pick the right USB device. I have only one, so it's a little hard to pick the wrong one in my case. And just to take a quick peek in here, anything important? It looks like leaving that hidden would have been just fine. So we'll go ahead and continue. And there, now we get the pop-up about the old version. So we need to say yes. It warns me about destroying all the data on the USB drive, and then it starts deleting partitions. Now immediately you saw Explore actually relabel it, nuke all the partitions on it, and begin to do the install. It was that fast. Pretty cool, right? It's that easy. Now you do want to eject from the tray icon, and the secondary monitor that doesn't show. Let's see if I can think of a way to... Yeah, I'm going to gracefully eject the media. Let's see, it probably won't do that while Rufus is running, so let's close Rufus now. And you can see the drive here. And we can eject from there. Now it's safe to remove. The drive's a little bit warm. A few writes to it. And sitting in the computer for a little while. Stick it in the server and boot from it, and you got yourself a fresh install of ESXi 7.0. It's on this USB drive, a 32 gig USB drive. I've inserted it in the server here, and we're going to go ahead and power that thing up. So when that server comes up, whatever you own, you may have different procedures for changing the boot order or booting from your USB device just this one boot time only rather than permanently changing it. Well, if your ESXi is booting from here, you probably do want to permanently change it. And I've covered how to set up the BIOS in this particular Xeon system, which is by Supermicro. So you may be installing with a local keyboard and mouse, but for the purposes of recording a video like this, it's really handy to have what's called out-of-band management, or a way to see the video and a way to operate the keyboard and mouse of the system remotely. So yeah, that's basically what we're doing here, putting it in the server, booting ESXi from it, and then installing to it. So let me let that sink in. Booting ESXi from the USB drive that it's going to then install to. It's going to overwrite all the partitions and install ESXi to the drive we boot from. That is possible with ESXi Hypervisor. It's very lightweight. And in the end, we'll have a install of ESXi we can label, as you saw in that image I showed you, and use in your home lab. And it makes it easy to clone it, pull it out, back it up. Okay, ready for the interactive installer. So hit enter. This has been the same for many years. Basic process here. Scan for devices. So it's going to look for all devices that it can install the ESXi Hypervisor itself onto. And you want to be very careful here and pay close attention. I've got a lot of drives and I don't want to overwrite a 10 terabyte drive accidentally, right? So I moved to the bottom of the list. Pretty obvious which drive it is. And you'll notice under my mouse here, HBA32, MPX, that's going to come up on the next screen too to confirm I know what I'm doing. You'll know what I mean in a moment or a few moments. Okay, so it's looking at what's on the drive. Hey, it found existing stuff in there. This is the Rufus we created, right? The Rufus bootable media. That was temporary. And now I hit enter to overwrite it. I pick default keyboard, type in the password twice. And there it is, the MPX HBA32 I mentioned. Now I hit F11. Kind of hard to do that accidentally, right? And now we just wait again. Okay, it finished. Now it says remove the installation media. Well, because Rufus is our install media, we don't want to remove it. That will not work very well. So we leave it in, hit enter, machine reboots, and now it's time for another time warp. And there you have it. That's the install process. Now, in my case, I had a DHCP reservation for this MAC address. In other words, my name is magically filled in there. You may need to go in and customize your config with F2. Sorry about the less than ideal audio. Now I have my microphone and my primary workstation back. And actually, after recording this upgrade to 7.0 a month ago, it's gone pretty well. I made a few observations, found a few minor bugs, but all in all, it's been a good experience on Xeon 1500 series of CPUs, like the 12-core Xeon D1567 you just saw me complete the install on. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching and for visiting tinkertry.com. Bye now.